The Bleeding by Cannibal Corpse was released April 12th, 1994. This album defined what kind of heavy music I was into in my early teenage years. Actually, the first extreme metal album I had was Butchered at Birth, also by Cannibal Corpse, but that album scared the shit out of me at first, so I'll probably make another video about that album later. Anyway, The Bleeding was the first album that scared me, but immediately I was drawn into. From that first song, those opening guitar slides into Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead, all the way through the sinking triplets of An Experiment in Homicide, I was obsessed. That heavy groove style of death metal sucked me in like a vacuum. It was like listening to a great horror movie.
Mr. West.
You'll never get credit for my discovery. Who's going to believe a talking head? Get a job in a sideshow.
That sound made my heart race. It was adrenaline and enjoyment, as if I was scared shitless and animalistically attracted at the same time. It was a primal feeling. That music gave me hope in the strangest ways possible. It let me escape from my teenage aggression and channel it into a feeling of euphoria. It was like being high for the first time. Side note.
Don't do drugs, kids.
But that started a musical trend in my mind. I noticed for the rest of my life I was always attracted to more of that groove-oriented sound rather than just fast, heavy, evil riffage. As long as it had a feel and a heavy-ass bass to it, I was hooked, and I went for pretty much every genre of music after that. The Bleeding was produced by Scott Burns, who also produced a bunch of other legendary metal bands like Death, Deicide, Sepultura, Suffocation, and Cynic, to name a few. This is the last recording with the original singer as well as one of the founding members of the band, Chris Barnes, who after the split continued to play with his other death metal outfit, 6 Feet Under. Chris Barnes' vocals on this album were my absolute favorite, and for years I tried to mimic that almost decipherable evil growl playing with the bands. Probably influenced my growling vocals to this day as well. Also at this time I had began playing bass, so I can't continue this rant without mentioning the genius that is Alex Webster. Okay, so if you know Cannibal Corpse at all, we all know that cool ass bass solo and hammer smash face. But to me it was the intensity of the with a knife solo that let me know some bass players can shred with style. That opened my mind to other dope bass players too, like Steve Giorgio from Sadis and even Jaco Pastorius, but that's another topic altogether. Alex Webster is one of my favorite bass players to this day. Massive respect for the dude, especially for other projects like Blotted Science, Conquering Dystopia, and his studio work for Unmerciful is amazing in its own right. But I digress. This is also the first album to feature guitarist Rob Barrett, who would leave the band shortly after their next album, Vile, and rejoin again in 2006 for Kill and still remains a current member. Jack Owen, who now surprisingly plays in 6 Feet Under, was the other guitarist on this record, as well as founding member Paul Mazurkiewicz on drums filling out the rest of the lineup. This remains in my top 10 favorite albums of all time, due to simply how much it changed my musical perception forever. Not to say that any other Cannibal Corpse albums aren't sick. This is just one of the ones that means the most to me, in that sense, I guess.
What's up, everybody? If you like the content and want to know more about the music I create, I posted a link to all of my music on the very bottom of this page, as well as a link to the albums that I've been reviewing and talking about. That way, at least if you wanted to take a listen to either or, you're more than welcome to. I appreciate it. Thank you guys and take care.